What up, guys? Welcome to the Barbell Brigade talk show where I'm with Joey, Mike, myself, literally the strongest powerlifters that have ever lived.
Probably.
Yeah, and Joey is also a coach to some of the top powerlifters, aka Russell. But I know you. When you present yourself to other people, who is the Joey Flexx?
Honestly, when I meet people, I just refer them to my Instagram because it like summarizes everything. But
what's on your Instagram that summarize, like the followers?
I help 40-year-old businessmen lose weight.
No, I just try to build like the best lifters that I can. But I've been very fortunate that it's been like pretty organic. You know, it's just been you make one world champion that attracts more world champions, and if you can continue to do that, I guess that's how I could summarize it. I helped create some impactful lifters in the space, and I've continued to do that with different names and grow that high level sort of like echelon of lifter. Yeah, that's pretty much.
Who was your first world champion?
Let me guess. I don't know.
You know.
Is it Hack?
Yeah.
Yeah, Hack.
Oh.
John Hack, yeah.
And then Russ saw that and he was like, give me some of that.
Same weight class, said fuck 'em.
Same weight class.
Or no? Is that how it happened?
It was, how did it happen? I mean, with John, we just kind of did it. And you know what? It's not just us. It's the person that we went against. Mr. Brett Gibbs, he was like the guy.
Yeah, I remember.
He was the guy back
Mr.
then.
Lord of the Rings, dude.
Mr.
Yeah.
Lord of the Rings, and that really sort of helped us like get out there. And then John went a different path,
Yeah.
and then it was just like weird timing.
It's
and
a
then
juicier path, huh?
Probably the better path.
Possibly.
The path that we're missing out on for sure.
And then at that time, Russ came into the picture, and then but it's not just like Russ came into the picture, and then with him we've been able to do like impossible things. But that brings up, but what really like gives me like a lot of like when you need to have the receipts, right? Like when people ask me, Joey, like who are you in the space or whatever, you have the receipts.
Like, why are you the best? And this is.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of good coaches, but like guys like Johnny Keiko who are built from. I remember when he didn't even make prime time. He wasn't even like top 10, and then he became like took him a couple years, but then we became champion, and he stayed on top. And then we have Big Jesus, and then we have Amanda.
Yeah,
Mikey
guys,
Davis,
girls, multiple weight classes.
Yeah, so like it's and that now Callie coming in just like stealing it from Taylor, like that was so insane. And it's just you have the formula, and then you have to mold that formula to like different individuals, and if you work with enough people and you're doing the right things, like sometimes you get a champ out of that.
Is that your biggest satisfaction, like building someone up almost from scratch?
I mean, I do oftentimes reflect and look at the journey, like, dang, look how far we came, or, we started out here, and then like the total from 2017 that Russ won nationals with, it wouldn't even be like.
What was that total?
Oh my God, it was like 790 kg, so 17 like 40 something, I think.
So maybe what, 12th place?
Something now.
Yeah.
It'd still be good. It just like I think it would still be top 10. It's just it's just it definitely gets more competitive as time goes on, as the sport grows, and you have to keep going. And I think being able to like maintain it as everything grows, I feel like that's really given me a lot of like just like confidence in myself and the things that we're doing. And yeah, that's pretty much that. Does that answer your question?
Is there a weight class that you think is like the sexiest?
The sexiest weight class?
Like for MMA, right?
Yeah.
Like for MMA, like it kind of sucks, but like Demetrius Johnson is like considered one of the GOATs.
Right. Yeah.
Two people that know.
Yeah.
Two people that don't know, they go, I don't want to watch the midget class.
No, everyone wants a heavyweight.
Yeah, everyone wants a heavyweight, although sometimes they're not the most technically sound.
Powerlifting, I think, is maybe backwards a little bit. Like the heavyweights are cool, but you're like,
you think the
you
smaller
should be
ones are
lifting
dope?
weights. Yeah, I think actually for both, and maybe it's because I reflect on it myself.
Yeah.
Is like the 185 to 205
That's the
in
sexiest.
both MMA and in powerlifting. Because you're like, damn, like Russ obviously, even Hack.
I mean, it's
you're like,
gotta
you look
be-
good. They're actually jacked. They're not that big, right? So you can kind of relate.
Yeah.
And then they're lifting insane weights.
Yeah.
Like Usman's one of my favorite, right? Because
Yeah.
you're like, damn, he looks sick. He'll fucking kill you, and he's still quick as shit. It's
Yeah.
that balance.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if you're talking about like the most interesting or the one that's like the most you know, like that gets a lot of views or whatever, I honestly do believe that I think the 74 kg and the 83 kg class really get a lot of views. The 93s are coming up. Like I'm a 105 120 lifter, so like I really like watching those, but they just doesn't hit the same, you know what I mean, in terms of like what people, I mean, I pay attention to the live stream views, right? And you know, we know who, you know, people like, also, you know, Russ is gonna bring eyes to that 83 class.
He has charisma too.
Yes, he has charisma. He has like a lot of things that he has, like, think of like regular sports and like what a champion would need to have to be good at those regular sports, but he brings that to powerlifting. We were talking about earlier how like a lot of powerlifters, it might be their first sport, so it's like different, you know what I mean? You still need to have all those things that other sports have, but like when you've played other sports, like you can kind of like take that mindset that you used to compete at a high level there, and like my football players, like ex-football players, they all do good, you know, in powerlifting, because it's like you already have like all the pieces that you need mentally, and now you're just like applying that to like your sport. So but yeah, I would say the 83s is probably a very, like, you know, sexy class. If that's what you want to say.
Why is the 198s and 220? Because being natty plays a role, obviously, right? Like there's a bell curve to everything we do, and you can only build so much strength and muscle. And there's just less people being 300 pounds. But you'd think the 198 and 220 would be more popular over the years, but they've kind of been lackluster. I'm calling you fuckers out. Like, Keiko's strong as shit. They're strong guys. So, not that there's not, but the depth and the height hasn't ever been there.
What's interesting about that is, so in my opinion, at least at the IPF level, the 93 kg class is like really, really, really tough. Because like if you miss once, you go from first, like now you're gonna get third. You know what I mean? And it's like 5 guys that could beat you.
They're just so close.
Any one of them could beat you. So
isn't that sexier to watch then?
For me, for us,
for the nerds,
for the
yeah,
and also,
but they're not like out totaling Russ by that much and stuff. Is my point.
So I actually think Russ's next meet, he is gonna total as if he was the 93.
And it's been like that. Like even back, you look back to like the Bryce Lewis era and stuff like that. Like the 198s and 181s have been on the 220s ass.
Also,
so weird.
Yeah, I mean, so like Taylor, right? Like Taylor really built that weight class, and he's generating all this popularity for it, and he's
Taylor Atwood.
Yeah, and shout out Taylor. What Taylor would do is he would total, and like I remember one Arnold, he didn't cut. I don't think he cut weight, and he totaled, and people were like, "Oh man, can he compete with Russ?" You know what I mean? And that's like so impressive that like he gets like all this commotion. It never really materialized. He never like actually like went head up with him. You know, and I think when you have a guy in the class down that's competing with the class up, it starts a lot of buzz, you know what I mean? But I also think powerlifting struggles with like, you know, we are like, as more people get into lifting, it gets more popular, you know, TikTok, social media, whatever. But I think it's hard for a regular person to look at a guy lifting on kilos and be like, oh dang, that's like super impressive. They probably, you know, they might not even like know what that is. And I think over time, like, I think what's cool about Russ is like he also does YouTube where he talks to people. He can talk to people and like explain what he's doing. So like people that are like gym bros, for example, they'll come into the gym. You know, they will like, okay, I'm a gym bro. Like I just lift whatever. Oh, who's this Russell guy? Oh, like maybe like, oh, he's like similar to my weight. What is he lifting? Wow, he's really impressive. Okay, I want to be like that guy. I want to aspire to do that one day. And then he can literally convert people to being powerlifters. You know, and I think that's just like you don't really get that when you just see like, you know, like someone at an IPF meet and they're like lifting and you're like, what's happening? I'm digging it. I'm like, yo, this is crazy.
But you're bought in.
Yeah, but I already like understand like what you know, what's happening. It's just, I think that's, I'm
a fan of powerlifting, but when I go to powerlifting pages and they put their weight in kilos, what they're lifting in kilos, when everything's kilos, I just skip.
It's like hard to know like what it is. But I think also on the women's side, you have like, you're starting to get like girls now that are like really, really strong, like lifting serious weight. And if you put a girl on TikTok that benches like 225 all the little 16-year-olds that can't do that are gonna be like, what is it?
The drama's coming,
and it's gonna get like, so they're gonna show it to their friends, and that's very compelling to them, right?
Yeah.
And I think on the women's side, there's a lot of potential for it to become super compelling. Almost where like in the UFC, we're probably gonna reference sports a lot.
Yeah.
That sport a lot.
Yeah.
Where like the women's side, like they could have like a bunch of like girl fights on the card, and I'm like, oh shit, I can't wait to watch that one.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they make it so
fun.
competitive. In their own, and then like like my girl will get into it. She'll be like, "Oh, I want to watch her." You know what I mean? So, I think the sport is growing like all around, and I think the women's side is definitely like pretty damn compelling. And I remember at Worlds like this last one, I was really excited for like the women's 76 class and the women's 84 plus. I was like super into that because like it was gonna be like, dang, who's gonna win? Like you don't know who's gonna win, but like to like a regular person watching, they might not understand, like if this girl misses this lift, like she's literally gonna go from the favorite to like, it could be a huge upset. And we actually did have some like, one of my girls was competing in the 84 plus class, and our main competitor, it was insane. Our main competitor, we were like, okay, like if she comes on, like we're gonna have to bring it, right? And then we get to deadlifts and she bombs out. But that was so totally unexpected. But then there was this other girl that came out of nowhere that ended up like pushing us like really, really, really hard. So it was like you just did.
It was unexpected.
It was just so unexpected. And in a sport of powerlifting where like, usually everything is like very, this guy's like way ahead. All he has to do is go like 9 for 9. He's gonna win. To have those like upsets and those like crazy things happen.
There's still like day of shenanigans you have to deal with.
It's needed though, because for so long it wasn't. Like
but
the Hack Gibbs was a rivalry, but
that was the first of its kind.
But even that, you're like, Hack's probably gonna etch this out pretty good, because like the talent pool wasn't there. But now we're getting there, where shit's starting to get competitive.
It makes me mad when chicks my weight class lift more than me.
And that is
Sorry, Amanda.
And that is
whooping his ass.
And that is why that right there is I do believe it does have value, and it does.
It does though. It's so sick. Yeah. Like I see Amanda Lawrence fucking squatting 550.
Shout out Amanda.
Every fucking week. I'm like, bitch.
Yeah.
But anyway,
that's why we talk about lifting.
We'll see you guys in the next episode. Peace.